Hey, welcome. This is Liberty Action Network, and this is Lunch Pail and the Professor, your political psychotherapy session. Viewer discretion advised. This program is totally unscripted. So, today, you might notice, to my left, we have a guest lunch pail. So our original lunch pail is away, and so we're pleased to have you, lunch pail.
Nice to be here.
Okay. So we look forward to a very interesting. There's so much to talk about today. It's almost, we won't have enough time probably, but I will say just a couple of things. One, we're going to talk about the surge on the border. We're going to talk a bit about a little bit on Hillary Clinton, the hot elections that are coming up, and the IRS. And then we have our little bits and pieces. Now, there is our award. Those of you who may remember that we have an Inspector Clouseau Award. Just to remind people, the Inspector Clouseau Award is named after the character in the Pink Panther series who was a detective whose main characteristic was unintentional buffoonery. And this week, this goes to Senator Chucky Schumer, also many call Chucky Shrunky Schumer, from New York. And Chuck, who, you know, if you get between Chuck, as they say, and a camera, you're in real danger. But Chuck came out with a big concern that people who went to the World Cup might be coming back with some diseases borne by mosquitoes, so mosquito-borne diseases. And you might say, well, okay, I hadn't thought about that. But if you noticed, he has no concern about diseases being brought across our borders by the illegals that are coming into the country and then being shipped to all over the United States.
That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You know, is that no concern about that at all? And you're a big fan of Chuck Schumer, aren't you?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I thought he was your best buddy. He's not your BFF?
Yeah, no. Nothing else.
All right, so let's just talk a little bit about the surge on the border. As many of you know, we suddenly, and the Obama administration said unexpectedly, have these unaccompanied minors. And by the way, they're not just unaccompanied minors. There are cartel members, there are gang members that are coming across the border, and so we're saying this is all unexpected. So they're coming across the border, and they're running to the Border Patrol, not running away from the Border Patrol, because their understanding, Lunch Pail, is that if they turn themselves in, that they'll never be deported, that the Border Patrol will just take them to a processing center, which doesn't really, as I understand it, doesn't do much processing.
You know what I find out?
What?
They have to pay a couple $1,000 to come here.
To come here.
The coyotes.
The coyotes, yeah.
So
they pay a lot of money to get here.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of people about that.
And so then they get sent to other parts of the border, other parts of the country. All right, so it could be Oklahoma, someone going to Massachusetts, go to Virginia. And so, and by the way, there's 1,000 protesters that came out to a town in Virginia and said, no mas. In other words, no more. No more. They protested there was supposed to be about, 500 illegal immigrants.
In their own language, they say, no mas.
No mas.
So they can understand it.
That's
right. They still don't understand it.
Right.
Okay.
So here they are being sent all over the states, and the word is they haven't been properly inoculated, they haven't been properly examined, and so now the concern is that there'll be a spread of MERS disease, there was a spread of smallpox, spread of measles, all that kind of stuff. But is Chucky Schumer concerned about that? No, not concerned about that.
Unbelievable. You
sure you're not a friend of Chucky Schumer?
No, man.
No? Okay, all right.
Not that I know.
Not that you know. So we'll have to check Facebook and see if you befriended him on Facebook.
You can do that.
Okay. So look, here's what we got. Beside this surge that's coming in, and gosh knows how many people are coming in. And the government said, geez, we didn't know. So what happens? What gets discovered? A contract from January signed by the government with what's called escort services. This is in January, this past January, to transport, and in the contract, it says transport 68,000 immigrants that will be coming across the border. So they knew about it. They had already signed a contract with a defined number of immigrants coming across the border, 68,000. And yet, as I would call it, another lie from the administration. Huh? What? Immigrants coming across the border? Hell, I don't know.
They saw it on the news, probably. They
I
find
saw
out on
it
the
on
news
the-
just like everything else.
That's right.
Obama find out on the news.
That's right.
It. That's all.
Yeah, good point. They find out everything
On the
from the
news.
news. You know, we have the most expensive CIA, we have the most expensive intelligence services out there. But how do they find it out? From the news media,
On the news.
which, by the way, the news media is not covering the border.
Exactly.
Not covering it. So let's see. I have some other notes here on this. Oh, the false narrative that's coming across about the immigrants, that they're leaving their country, and not just Mexico, by the way. This is across Central America, Guatemala, Honduras,
Yeah.
right?
El Salvador.
El Salvador, coming across, and when they interview the illegals coming across, women and children, men, what they say is not that we're fleeing violence and that things are so horrible, but we heard
Gang members.
that once you get here, you'll be able to stay here. That's why they're coming. And now the administration, the Obama administration, has had to say, you know what? Gee, maybe it's something we said.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something we said, and they just misinterpreted it. So there you go.
Maybe you should go back to the videotape.
Then go back to the video.
See what they say, right?
Right. So now, what's another story on this? Recently, these two get tied together. Recently, you know, we've had a kind of, shall we say, disruption in the GOP in the elections for leadership, GOP leadership.
Okay.
Eric Cantor booted.
Yeah, that was a good one.
He got booted out. He got defeated in his primary race with David Bragg.
And he
So
was
he's out.
surprised. He was surprised.
He was
shocked.
surprised. He was shocked.
He was
right?
never around to campaign. He like Obama. He was playing golf probably and other things.
Right.
He thought that was going to be an easy win.
Right.
He comes back. What happened?
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know what was happening out there. So now, because he loses his primary, he is out of the Congress, which means he can no longer be in a leadership position in the Congress. So they hold another election within a week. So one has to wonder, they do it within a week's time.
Why would they do it in an election?
Because they can't do it around the election because it's an internal thing,
Okay.
right? It's among the GOP. So they do it within a week's time. And the concern was they're doing it so quickly so that no conservative candidate could really rise to the occasion and take that leadership position,
Sure.
right? Which is so Kevin McCarthy from California got that position.
Okay.
Right? Kevin McCarthy has been known to be pretty sympathetic to immigration reform.
Right. I heard that.
Right?
Yes.
Immigration reform. So he gets it. He's on Fox News the other day, and he's saying some nice things, and then he gets to immigration and he says, we're not going to do anything on immigration until we secure the border. Now, I don't want to say anything, but this mantra about until we secure the border seems to be the code word
Yes.
for what? Well, the code word that people are asking is, okay, so you secure the border, what does that mean? And in the meantime, while you're securing the border, which could take years,
Exactly.
what about the illegals? They stay here, right? Do they stay here? Yes, they'll stay here, right? And so what people are saying, well, if they stay here during this period of time, that's amnesty.
Exactly.
Right? So now the other question that people raise is, once you say that there is a path to citizenship,
right,
that they'll have legal status, how soon does it become legal status gets changed to citizenship? Right?
I can tell you the way I came. I mean, this just blows my mind what they're talking about. I came from the old country, the religious freedom.
Where'd you come from? What country?
Former Yugoslavia.
Former Yugoslavia? Is that Macedonia?
Yeah. Well,
Macedonia.
My country is now called Macedonia. They're all split out. There's no understanding between each other.
Right.
They always hated each other. They don't forgive each other for what happened 500 years ago. Anyway, I came here, went to Austria. From Austria, my father applied to go to Australia. That's the continent. We were denied because we did not have a strong sponsor. So we waited 1 year for that. After that, we got involved with the church, Yugoslavian. They gave us a good sponsor here from Patterson. We waited 2 years, and then we came to the United States. Now, 2 years we have to wait here. That's temporary. No green card. 2 years, you make one mistake, anything bad, you send back. After the 2 years, then we get a green card. And after that, you have to wait 5 years for citizenship. So that's the way. I mean, I don't understand. How come there's so many people wait online, and people, are willing, who love this country. You get all these people come who nobody checked them out.
No.
It's just.
Well, Democrats would say, and the lefties would say, and I would say the elite, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, would say, we got to have some compassion for people. Have you no compassion, Lunch Pail?
Well, compassion. If the United States doesn't have a compassion, who does?
Yeah.
I've been to many countries. I also been South America on mission trips. I mean, everybody respects the United States when we go there. I mean, helping people with churches.
Right.
We have the compassion, the biggest compassion. And what else now? Just give up everything that we have? Come on.
Well, that's the question. That's the debate. Well, the issue then becomes, what are we going to do with this matter of cartel members that are now coming across the border towns? American citizens in the border towns are leaving their cities.
Yeah.
They're vacating the cities. It's too dangerous.
Exactly.
Right? So you have cartel members, you have gang members coming across the border. And here's the other thing that knocks me out. You hear people say, John McCain especially, my favorite rhino, John McCain, who says, we have to bring them out of the shadows. It's a stain on our honor. We have to get immigrants out of the shadows. My question to him is, hey, John, what if the cartel members and the gang members don't come out of the shadows? What are you going to do then? Crickets.
Yep.
You don't hear people asking that question. Okay, you have any other comments on that, on the border?
Well, you said pretty much, but I mean, they come, the drug dealers. I even heard a story. They're bringing pot, marijuana, even with the children. Well, not these, the one that come give themselves up in front in border patrol, but the other ones that come through. And I heard a lot of stories. I mean, I have connections with a lot of South Americans because my wife's from South America. And most of them good working people, but the problem is, like you said, the cartels. I mean, and what about, it was 2 years ago when they caught some people, some terrorists. Some ladies, remember that? They were coming from a terrorist country. They can just go right through. So.
Yeah. You know, the elitist would say, of course, somebody I saw on TV the other night, a liberal, very liberal, when asked, well, how many people should we accept from the border? It was like, when it comes to children, we should accept all children that come across the border, no matter how many, all of them that come across the border.
Yeah, what happened?
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, we accept them all. Then their parents, they can bring their parents,
Yep.
their grandparents, their families.
Yep.
Where are we going to put them?
Yeah.
All these people. I mean, even now, the way the economy is and things, forget about it.
And the one last item on this, and then we'll move on, and that is the question of, as most people would say and agree and support, is that the influx of illegal immigrants is suppressing the wages of American workers. So there are a lot of people out of jobs
Exactly.
in America. And now you're bringing in illegal immigrants who say, well, there are jobs that people will do. And something that's very disturbing to me, and I'm very disappointed in Rand Paul, who played that one note, which is, well,
Are you picking on my friend Rand Paul?
I'm picking on your good buddy, your best friend, Rand Paul,
goodness.
because I support him in a lot
in
of things.
Washington. I got a picture of him.
Do you?
I got good hopes in it. Anyway, go ahead. Let's see what you have to say.
It may be good, maybe, who knows. However, what he said now is he played that same, what I call Johnny One Note, which is, well, it's a path to legalization. It's a path to citizenship. They'll have legal status, and we'll find a place for them to work. Like, wow.
You can't find a place to work for all these unemployed people, right?
For American citizens,
No,
American workers.
Right.
I would like to see the same concern and compassion for American workers who have been out of work as we see compassion, as we hear from the left. You have to compassion for the children, compassion for these groups.
Yeah, American workers, they pay in. They've been paying for years, all the taxes. They support everybody. Now they don't have jobs.
Yep. All right, so I think that's. I think we've hit a number of the high spots on that, the low spots, I guess you can say. And let's go on to your next best friend, Lois Lerner and Commissioner Koskinen and the IRS.
Chalk, please. Lois Lerner, the stone face, right?
Yeah. Let's just set this up, and then turn it over to you. You can make some comments on this, as people know. By now, the name Lois Lerner is well known to everybody as the person who is in charge in the IRS of handling tax-exempt status for conservative groups. Okay. And then we discovered that conservative groups were being delayed for years, their tax-exempt status.
Right.
Right. Those groups, which had names in them like Tea Party or Patriot or any of those names that got associated with those groups, would be singled out.
Liberty, church groups, even Billy Graham. Billy Graham, he was denied. Unbelievable. Well,
because, you can't have religion sticking its ugly head to the government. You know that, right? You know that. You can't have that. So now, of course, everyone remembers Lois Lerner took the fifth. Right? She had nothing to hide. Why take the fifth? Right? So now we get a new commissioner. And the new commissioner comes in and says, well,
it was not on my watch.
It was not on my watch.
Exactly.
I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. And during this period of time, we find out that Lois Lerner's emails
mysteriously disappeared.
Right. It was a crash.
Why didn't it say a crash on the first meeting?
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Now it's a crash.
Now it's a crash.
Maybe they created the crash. They had enough time, right?
Hey, are you saying that this could have been a deliberate act, a sabotage?
Maybe I'm, what do you call?
My God, you're so suspicious. You are so suspicious. I can't believe it. So now we have this guy coming in, and he commits he's going to get all those emails. He's going to find them, he's going to get them. Except when he found out in, I think, March or January, I forget what it was, he found out this past March or January, that there was some missing emails. Although he would say, I didn't know, they didn't say they were missing, they just said there was an irregularity in the emails of Lois Lerner. But he decided to keep that quiet and not tell the committee that's investigating this. So last night, he got pummeled.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to see, folks, if you want to see somebody who is a prototype of the arrogant government bureaucrat, this would be the guy. And by the way, he's also donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Democrats. However, what we have is a man who now, if you listen to him last night, and I listened to the hearing, he can't give a straight answer. You asked him a direct question about, yes or no, did you know about this? He goes, well, I don't think I knew about it. I really have no evidence that there was anything. This is the big thing. Is there any evidence? No hard evidence, because the emails that would be the hard evidence have been lost.
Just going around the bush. Going around the bush.
Yeah. Bush. You keep bringing Bush into this.
Around the burning bush.
Look, I have to tell you, Bush was not on board when this was happening, so stop it. All right.
Still blaming Bush, right?
Still blaming Bush. The blaming Bush. You've heard of the burning bush? This is the blaming bush.
Yeah.
Right. So now, what they find out is that before the committee was notified of missing emails, the Treasury Department went and informed the White House that they were missing. So now they're asking this Commissioner Koskinen, that's his name, they're asking him, well, who told you that the emails were missing? And he says, I don't remember.
Oh, there we go again.
When did they tell you? Can't be sure. I think it was in April sometime. Did you tell anybody? No, I didn't tell anybody. And I didn't tell the White House. So they said, well, who told him? He said, I don't know. And they said, well, will you find out? He goes, well, yeah, I'll do my best. Well, you know what that means, right? It means no mas.
No mas.
I'm not going to have any.
That's it.
Madam Producer, how much time we got left? 5 minutes. Oh my God.
Time flies, man. Time flies when you have fun.
Oh my God.
Let's figure it out.
Well, here's one thing we got out of. So summarize this because we only have 5 minutes. One is they asked him point blank. They asked the commissioner point blank, will you invite the FBI to come in and investigate this? And he said, guess what he said?
What?
No.
That figures.
Why? Well, we already have an investigation going on, an investigation that's being run out of the White House. Right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So the fox.
And then they asked
the
him,
hen house.
The what?
The fox.
The fox in the hen house.
There you go.
And then they asked him this. Did you go to the backup servers? Now, I'm not an expert on software and backup servers and backup tapes. They asked him, did you go to the backup servers? And he said, well, no. Everything gets wiped out in 6 months. Yeah.
What about the NSA? NSA?
Yeah, right.
They keep records for how long? Who
That's
knows,
right.
right? And they can have this.
And you know, I didn't hear that coming up. But here's what he said about that. They asked him, they said, well, did you go to the servers within that 6 month period? Because they said 6 months and everything gets wiped out. Did you go to those servers and check and see if the emails were there? He said, no. And they said, well, how come you didn't go to the servers? He said, you have to remember, this is the middle of tax filing season.
They're busy.
I was too busy.
Too busy, right.
Folks, if you believe this, then you'll believe that turtles fly. So that's a little bit on that. Let's go to our get to our bits and pieces thing. We'll leave elections till after the elections. There are some hot elections going on, as people know. Our bits and pieces. Hillary Clinton's book tour.
Oh.
You were there, weren't you? Weren't you waiting online to get a?
Sure, I was waiting online. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You were there. I saw you.
Internet online. I was watching.
You were waiting.
How many copies she sold? 60,000.
Yeah, 60,000 copies in a week.
You know what I think? Who bought her?
What?
Her husband.
Husband,
She
Billy?
look good, yeah.
Billy Clinton.
Yeah, he got the money. They don't look good. If he figured another 60, somebody else would buy it, nobody bought it.
Billy Clinton bought him. And she dropped, she was in the top 10. After 1 week, she dropped out of the top 10.
Even that.
No longer
yeah,
in the
that's
best, you know.
Oh, we can make a book and make better than that.
Now, I call this a book tour. I mean, people call this a book tour. I call it the Oops Tour. Okay? Here's the first oops. As she said in her interviews on TV, she's hawking her book. Bill and I, when we were dead broke when we got out of the White House. We were dead broke when we got in. We were struggling for mortgages. We're just not wealthy people. We're just not wealthy people. This is the pitch, like, to relate to the regular folks for her election campaign.
Yep.
Well, she got nailed on that. Even the MSNBC nailed her on that. So later she comes back, and now she changes her quote a bit to say, oh, by the way, yeah, maybe we're wealthy, but we're not as wealthy as the truly wealthy.
Exactly.
Truly wealthy. What does that mean? Now, I'm just getting a signal here from Madam Producer that we have like, 1 minute and 30 seconds left. So we've done a lot. Let's get a couple of other bits and pieces in. The other day, Bill O'Reilly had to admit that Glenn Beck was right when 3 or 4 years ago he said that the Egyptian Spring would turn into a push for an Islamic caliphate across the Middle East.
The Arab Spring.
Right?
Yeah,
the Arab Spring, right? The
exactly.
Arab Spring. And at that point, O'Reilly really goofed on him, really dumped on him.
Yeah.
Gee, what do we have? ISIS across the Middle East, taking swaths of swaths of land to set up a caliphate. So I have to. We got 1 minute left. This is kind of amazing. Things go. There's so much. One last thing. Hillary Clinton sounding like a moderate, talking about jobs, talking about no citizenship. People should be deported.
Oh, no, she's turning around.
Yeah. Now she's sounding like a Republican.
Exactly. Yeah.
And well, anyway, folks, I want to thank our Lunch Pail stand-in for today, our guest Lunch Pail. And folks, remember, this is Lunch Pail and the Professor. This is Liberty Action Network. See you next time. God bless.
Bye.
We're out.